Okay, let's see who got it correct. What's the slope formula? Y2 minus Y1. X2 minus X1. So what is our Y2? 19. And we are subtracting? Negative? No. X1, Y1. X2, Y2. So 19 minus negative 14. And we are dividing by? Minus 9. So we have double negative. What happens to double negative? Turns into positive. So 19 plus 14. Same sign means what do we do? Add or subtract? Same sign means you always add the numbers, but keep the negative sign. So it's 6 plus 9 with a negative sign. And what is 19 plus 14? 33 divided by negative 15. Can you reduce by what? 3. So what's the answer? Our negative 5. Okay. I already seen couple answers. Few of you are very close. You have negative 11 over 1 or 11 over negative 1. See, it's not 1, it's 5. So good. This will be the final exam. Any question on this? So for this type of question, all you have to do is remember the formula and plug in correctly.
There still be points if we could simplify or
for now, I will not do anything. Since it was your first quiz, I understand. You maybe forgot.
you are fine.
Because 33 is divisible by 3 and 15 is also divisible by 3. 33 is divisible by 3 and also 15 is divisible by 3. Any other question? You will definitely see this in the exam also, exam 1, which is end of this month. And now we are going to our lecture. Any questions from anyone before we start the lecture? So, little review from last class. In our last class, what we did was first, we found the same thing what we did today, find the slope between 2 points. And then we talked about 4 different types of line, which has 4 different types of slope. What is the slope of any increasing line, positive or negative? Positive. What type of slope decreasing line have? What is the slope for any horizontal line? 0. And what is the slope for any vertical line? Undefined. Remember, slope is what we get when you walk from left side to the right side. In a vertical line, we don't walk from left to the right. So we don't know its slope. So that's why the slope doesn't exist. Means we don't know how to find its slope. And then we said, well, from any type of line, we can figure out slope, x-intercept, y-intercept, and then we can use x and y-intercept to graph. To find the slope from any type of line, first we need to convert that into slope-intercept form so we can see the slope. And when we convert into slope-intercept form, we see the slope. Also at the same time, we see the y-intercept. That's why this format is the best to figuring out the slope and y-intercept. And to find the x-intercept, we set the y0 and we solve for x. Means to get the x alone, we take all the necessary steps. If our equation is already in the slope-intercept form, that means we don't need to do any math to find out the slope or the y-intercept. We just got them from the equation. And to find x-intercept, again, we set y0, and we take all necessary steps to get the x alone. To graph, we plot the x-intercept on the x-axis, y-intercept on the y-axis, and we connect them. Even if we have point slope format, it's the same method. We see the slope directly, but we don't see the x or y-intercept. To define the x-intercept, we do the same thing, y0 solve for x, and to get the y-intercept, we set x0 and we solve for y. These were the important things we learned in our last class. And in this class, we are going to learn how do we graph using the slope and y-intercept. So this format is useful when you already have the equation in slope and y-intercept format. Something like this, y equals mx plus b. We see our slope, we see our y-intercept. That means we can directly use slope and y-intercept to graph. We don't have to find the x-intercept. To graph, it's easy. You always start with the y-intercept first. Y-intercept is the first point. We plot the y-intercept in the y-axis. From there, we walk the slope. So we have to see what information we get from the slope. Any slope has numerator and denominator. But in our equation, we don't have a denominator for the slope. So what can we put on the denominator? 1. When you have no denominator, we don't care because we are so smart. We can put a 1 on the denominator. We can always do that. And now our slope is a fraction. Now slope says for the numerator, if it's a positive number, go up from the y-intercept. But if it's a negative number, go down from the y-intercept. Denominator says if it's a positive number, go to your right. And if it's a negative number, go to your left. Okay, so denominator is always left or right. Numerator is always up or down. Do you know why? See, what is slope formula? Difference in the y over difference in the x. So difference in the y means go in the y direction, up or down. Difference in the x means go in the x direction, left or right. That's why it's rise over run. So you're rising and then you are running. So plus means up, down means minus, plus means right, down means left means minus on the denominator. Now let's use this information. I need more space. So first point is always the y-intercept. 1, 2, 3. -3, we plot that first on the y-axis. From there, we are going to walk -5 on the top. So which direction? Down 5. So 1 down, 2 down, 3 down, 4 down, 5 down, and then +1 on the denominator. Which direction? Right 1. So this is our next point. From the y-intercept, you rise and run, you get your next point. And then you can simply connect them and get your line. But in order to draw more accurate line, the more points you have, the better you can draw them. So let's say I want to plot one more point. Let's see here. I cannot go more down than I have space. In that case, I can actually walk backward. What I can do is I can change the position of my negative in my slope. I can say my slope is +5 over -1. That same, -5 over 1 is -5. 5 over -1 is still -5. I still have my -5 in the slope. But if I put it on the bottom, then look which direction we are going. +5 means which direction we are going to go this time. Up 5. And now we have -1 on the denominator. Left. So starting from the same y-intercept, I'm going to go up 5, left 1. So up 1, up 2, up 3, up 4, up 5 here. And my left one is here. So up 5, left 1. And then connect all these points with a straight line. That's it. This is the line for that equation. Y equals -5x minus 2. Observe our slope is negative. And what type of line is this one? Increasing or decreasing? Decreasing. Just when you walk from the left, you're going down when you go toward the right side. Any question on this? Was anything unclear or confusing? Then you try one. Go ahead. Your first point is always the y-intercept. No, -3. -5 is the slope. Now from -5, you walk the slope. But in order to walk the slope, we need a numerator and denominator.
So the one is the red.
1 is the denominator. So from here, we need to go 5 units down, 1 units right. It's 5 down because numerator is negative. Negative numerator means down. Positive denominator means right. So from the y-intercept, go -5 units downwards and +1 on the right. Here's my second point.
What about the third one?
The third one, I don't have space to go downside, so I want to walk on the upside. You have to walk downside, I'm just switching the sign. If we switch the sign, now 5 is positive, 1 is negative. Now 5 is positive, that means go up 5, and 1 is negative, means go left 1. So from the same y-intercept, I went 5 units up and 1 units left. And don't forget to count 0. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2 is my 5 up, and then 1 left, etc. So I have 3 points. I think my method wants you to apply 3 points and then connect.
That's
Yeah. My method is very specific. So it tells you how many points it wants.
so if we got like no more room to dot and look at it backwards, we make both the numerator and denominator negative.
It doesn't wish. Are you guys done? Always. Y-intercept is our first point. Ready? So what is our y-intercept? So 1, 2, 3, 4. At 4, we plot our first point. And then how do we walk the slope? 1 which way? And right 2. So we go 1 up, 1, 2, 2 right, and we stop. But let's say I also want to walk backward. In this case, what would be our slope? -1 and -2. So if you want to walk the other direction, you just have to switch the sign. 1 is positive, make it negative. 2 is positive, make it negative. So now -1 means which direction? Down. Top is always up or down. Because I want to walk the other direction. So see here, I want upward. Now I want to go downward to find the next point. And then -2 on the denominator means which direction? Left. So 1 down here, and then 1, 2, 2 left here. So 1 down and 2 left. So I have 3 points. Just connect them with a straight line. And you're done. So this method is useful again when you have the slope and y-intercept. If you don't have the slope and y-intercept, it's not a good idea. You can find x-intercept and y-intercept because that will give you more accurate line. This line is okay, but it doesn't tell us what is our x-intercept. And most of the time, x and y-intercept is the useful thing we want to know about any type of graph. Okay. So for lines, we learned 3 methods. Old school method, which we are not going to use in this class, like plotting points. The second method is x and y-intercept. And this is our third method, y-intercept and slope. So 3 ways you can draw your graph. There is one more method, it's called using transformation. So you're going to learn transformation in details in section 8.2. But right now, in my method says, well, I'm giving you a line. Based on that line, draw me a new line for a new function. Okay? So it says this line is y equals 2x. Now use this line and draw y equals 2x plus 1.
You just have to put the y-intercept and start at 1.
Good. See, y equals 2x doesn't have any y-intercept, means our y-intercept is 0. That's why our line is going through the origin. But this line has y-intercept at 1. So a new y-intercept is here. You are shifting the y-intercept 1 unit up. That means you're going to shift every other point 1 unit up. And that's it. That should be a new line. So you don't have to put every line 1 unit up. You can just pick few points and move them 1 unit up. For example, this is a good point because it's going through the corner of the grid. So I can move this 1 unit up at here. And this is also a good point. So I can move this 1 unit up at here. So I moved 3 points 1 unit up in order to draw the line better. So this is y equals 2x plus 1. The red one is y equals 2x. The green one is y equals 2x plus 1. And this is called transformation. We use transformation to graph. And this is only for my method. Okay. For in-class exam, you will not be given the original line. You have to draw everything. Any questions so far? No. Okay. Now the next important thing is parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel lines are the lines which go toward the same direction by maintaining the same distance between them. For example, these 2 lines are parallel because they both are going upward and the distance between them is always same throughout their journey. Or you can draw this way. These two lines are parallel. They both are going downward and they have the same distance everywhere. Or these two are parallel. These two are parallel. So parallel lines, they have the same direction and same distance between them. So in order to guarantee that they're never going to meet, they're never going to intersect, we have to have the same steepness between them. That's why parallel lines, they have the same slope. If their slopes are different, they will meet some point somewhere and they will not be parallel anymore. So in order to guarantee that they will meet, they have to have the same slope. Parallel lines have same slope. The other type of lines are perpendicular line. Perpendicular line has two criteria. The first criteria is, the most important thing is, in order to guarantee that they will be perpendicular, we have to verify that they are intersecting with a 90-degree angle. If they don't intersect with a 90-degree angle, they are not perpendicular. They are just some other types of lines. Okay? So perpendicular means the intersection has to have 90 degrees. So a vertical line and a horizontal line, they always intersect with the 90-degree angles. That means they are perpendicular lines. Or you can draw this way. If you observe, the intersection is a 90-degree angle. They don't look perpendicular, but if you observe the intersection, it's a 90 degrees. How about this type of line? Are these perpendicular? No. Because see, the intersection is not 90 degrees, less than 90 degrees. So if they intersect with less than 90 degree angle, it's not perpendicular. We have to have 90-degree intersection. And if you observe, this line has what type of slope? This one. Positive. But this one has what type of slope? Negative. So one of them has positive, one of them has negative. The perpendicular lines, they must have opposite sides. And also, in order to guarantee that 90 degree, we have to have the completely opposite number. So let's say this line has positive 3 slope. To guarantee this 90 degree, this number has to be, let me list this, 1/3. It's the reverse sign and flipped fraction. So they have to have opposite sign and their fraction had to be reciprocal. Opposite fraction means reciprocal. So we use two words, negative reciprocal. Negative reciprocal means opposite sign and the numbers, they're flipped. Okay? So perpendicular line has two things, opposite sign and their numbers are reciprocal of one another. An interesting thing is that if you multiply the slope for perpendicular lines, then the result is -1. For example, the example we picked, the first one is +3 and you're multiplying by -1/3. So it's -3/3, which is -1. You see, when you multiply them, it's -1. So you can always verify your answer by multiplying them. If the answer is -1, you are correct. If not, you are wrong. Okay, let's do some example. It says find the slope of the line parallel and perpendicular to this line. So they gave us a line. 7x plus 6y equals 11. Now they want us to find its parallel line, the slope for its parallel line. What is the slope? And slope for its perpendicular line. Okay, two things they want us to find. That means we need to see the slope of this line, right? But do we see the slope of this line? Is it directly given to us? No, we don't see it. So what can we do so that we can see the slope? If we don't see the slope, we learned a method in our last class. No graph is needed.
Start from 7x on the left.
You convert into y equals mx plus b format. Because here we can see our slope. So anytime we don't see a slope, solve for y. When you solve for y, the number in front of x is the slope. So we subtract 7x. We get 6y is negative 7x plus 11. Is our y alone yet? What do you have to do now? Divide by 6. So y is negative 7 over 6x plus 11 over 6. That means now we can see the slope of this line. Negative 7 over 6. That will help us to figure out the slope of its parallel line and perpendicular line. Now I'm going to use the symbol for parallel and perpendicular. The symbol for parallel is two vertical line. It's parallel. So what is the slope of the parallel line? Parallel lines have what type of slope? Same slope. So if the slope of this line is negative 7, 6, what is the slope of the parallel line? Same, negative 7 over 6. And upside down T is the symbol for perpendicular. So what is the slope of its perpendicular line? Negative turn into positive, 7 over 6 turn into a 6 over 7. You don't have to put the plus sign, but I'm just showing you that they have the opposite sign. So this is negative and this is positive. They have to have opposite sign and reciprocal of their fraction. Was anything unclear? Any question, comments so far? Nothing? Okay, then you try one. Find the slope of its parallel line and slope of its perpendicular line. You can talk to your neighbor to share ideas. Ready? Done? Ready? Would you like to be my volunteer? You with the glass. So these are first step. What do you do? We convert this into y equals mx plus b. So what do you do? So we subtract 5x. We get negative 8y equals negative 5x plus 40. Perfect. Then negative 8. We divide by negative 8.
Your y equals 5.
5 over 8x minus 5. So what is the slope of this line? X is a variable. The slope is only the number, 5 over 8. Okay, you did great. Now, who wants to give me the slope for the parallel line?
For the parallel line, it's the same.
Same. And perpendicular line?
It's negative 8 over negative 5.
You put negative only once.
Only one? Oh,
Negative 8 over 5. Because if you put double negative,
become positive.
say become positive, which is the same as before. So double negative is not possible. One negative and flip the sign. Sorry, flip the fraction. Any question? Negative 5 is the y-intercept. We don't care about the y-intercept. We only care about the slope. So parallel line, perpendicular lines, they have different y-intercept, but parallel have the same line, same slope, and perpendicular have the negative reciprocal slope. And they will have their individual y-intercepts. Any other question? Okay, so now we know if they give us a line, we can easily find out the slope for this line, and based on that, we know what will be the slope of the parallel line and what will be the slope of the perpendicular line. Next thing we want to know, oh, I forgot to tell you. This is the final exam question. This topic. In the final exam, they will ask you to find the slope of the parallel line or find the slope of the perpendicular. Now we want to know, well, what is the equation of the parallel line? Or what is the equation of the perpendicular line? So to figure that out, we do the same thing as our first step. We find the slope of the given line. Based on that, we figure out what is the slope of the parallel line. If they're asking for a parallel line, or what is the slope of the perpendicular line, if they want us to find the perpendicular. Once you know the slope, we use the point slope formula. So in the point slope formula, we plug in the slope, and they will always give us a point through which the parallel line goes, the perpendicular line goes. So that point will give us the x1 and y1. So we plug all of them, x1, y1, and slope. And then based on the final format, we just play around with the equation. If they want us to write the equation in slope intercept, means slope for y, bring it to the other side. If they want us to find in standard format, that means keep x and y next to one another on one side and constant to the other side. So it's up to their mood. What do they want us to do? Want slope format, slope intercept format, or standard format? So usually the final exam is multiple choice for this type of function. So based on the multiple choice, you see where do you have to stop. Do you have to stop using slope intercept form, or you have to stop using standard format, or you can simply use this and stop. It's all dependent on multiple choice. But I'm going to show you all two methods. And whatever is you see in the final exam, it's on them. Based on that, you just move on. So do the exact same thing. We start by the line given to us. 3x minus y is 8. They gave us this line because we want to see the slope of this line. We don't see the slope, means convert into y equals mx plus b. So how do you solve for y?
Isolate.
How?
Subtract 3x.
We subtract 3x. So we get negative y is negative 3x plus 8. Is our y alone yet? No. So what do you have to do now?
Divide by -1.
Divide by -1, or you can multiply by -1. So because of that, everything will change their sign. So y become positive, 3x become positive, 8 becomes negative. Y became negative because in the original equation, y has a negative sign in the front. So you still have to carry down your sign. So that tells us the slope of this line is 3. Now, based on that, what is the slope of the parallel line? Still 3. And slope of the perpendicular line? -1/3. This 3, you can write as 3/1. So when you flip, it becomes 1/3. It's negative because our 3 is positive. Now I will start with equation of the parallel line. Equation of parallel line. So we know slope of the parallel line is this. I'm going to use this, and they gave us a point, which is x1, y1. So we start by writing the formula. Y minus y1 slope times x minus x1. Anytime you're finding the equation of any line, this is the best way to start. You can use other methods if you're already familiar with them and if you're comfortable using them, no problem. But I found this is one of the easiest way to start. Start with the point slope formula. Substitute y1. What is our y1? 2. Then substitute the slope, 3. Then we substitute the x1, 5. So x1, y1, and slope needs to be numbers. We keep our x and y because every equation has x and y. Now the first format they want is slope-intercept format. Means we want the y alone in one side. So what do? We can add 2. But what do we do on the right side? Distribute. So we get y equals 3x minus 15. And then the extra 2 we added from the left side. And we are done. Y equals 3x negative 13. Anytime 2 different sign means you subtract, but keep the sign from the bigger number. Any questions so far? The next format they want is standard format. Means keep x and y next to one another and leave the constant alone. So what do you have to do now? We want x and y together.
We subtract. 3x.
We subtract 3x and we get negative 3x plus y is negative 13. We can stop here if you see this in the multiple choice, but most likely you will not see this. Why not? Because the x term is a negative. They don't want you to start with a negative x. They want you to start with a positive x. So what can we do to convert this negative 3x into positive 3x? Multiply by negative 1. So multiply everything by negative 1. In other words, just switch the sign for everyone. So positive 3x, negative y is positive 13. And most likely you'll see this.
Because they don't want the 3x to be negative. So we
They
have
don't
to-
want to start with negative x. They want to start with positive x. And also they don't want any fraction. So if you're working with fraction, you also need to get here the denominator. But I noticed most of the time they ask for slope intercept. If that's what slope intercept for, you're fine with slope for y. But for standard format, they don't want negative x, they don't want any fraction. So this is the equation of the parallel line. So observe the original line has equation 3x minus y equals 8. And our equation is 3x minus 1y. And that side is same. Our constant is just different. Now let's see what do we get for the equation of the perpendicular line. Equation of perpendicular line. We do the exact same thing. We start with the equation, point slope format. Y minus y1 slope x minus x1. Right. This time, what is the slope of the perpendicular line? Negative 1/3. So everything else is same except for the slope. And because of that, the whole line will be different. But we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to distribute and we are going to add the 2. So y is negative 1/3 x, negative 1/3 of 5, and we are adding the 2. What do we have here? 1/3 times 5. What do we get?
-5/6.
So when you multiply, we actually only multiply the numerator. We don't multiply the denominator with the whole number. So we get y equals negative 1/3 of x minus 5/3 plus 2. But we have to combine these two. One is a whole number and one is fraction. So if you want, you can do it on the side or you can do it together. But how are you going to combine them? We have to have the same denominator in order to combine. Otherwise, we cannot. So we only one denominator, 3. And 2 doesn't have any denominator, visible denominator, right? But we want the same 3 on the denominator. But we cannot just randomly put the 3 there. If you put 3 on the denominator, what else you have to do? Multiply the top. You know, math is fair. You cannot just give something to one person and leave the other person alone. No, if you give something to one child, you have to do the same, you have to give the same thing to the other child. Okay, so we want the 3 on the bottom. They want us to write 3 on the top also. Question? Oh, it's negative. Sorry. Yeah, it's plus. My bad. It's negative, so turn into positive. Thank you. See, I told you before. I make lots of mistakes. Thank you for fixing it. So yeah, positive 5 over 3. So if I combine now, we have positive 5 over 3 and positive 6 over 3. How much we get? Plus 5 plus 6 gives us plus 11. Negative 1/3 of x. And this is the equation in slope-intercept format. We are allowed to have a negative, we are allowed to have fraction because we want to get the y alone. So we don't care about what do on the other side. But then they don't want us to have fraction or negative in standard format. So next we are going for standard format. Ax plus by equals c. So we have y equals negative 1/3 of x plus 11/3. How can you convert this into x plus by? We add the 1/3x to both sides. So 1/3x plus y is 11/3. Well, this time you're happy, our x is positive, but you're still unhappy because you're a fraction. We don't want the 3 on the denominator.
So would you like multiply by 3?
We are going to multiply everything by 3. If you want, I can show you all terms. The first term is 3 times 1/3x. The second term is 3y. And the third term is 3 times 11/3. You don't have to do this line, but I'm doing it to show you why you're multiplying by 3. We need to multiply by because our denominator is 3. So when you multiply, they cancel out. Same thing here. We don't want the 3 on the bottom. So multiply so they cancel out. So no more denominators. Then what is our final answer? Equals? And now we are happy. We fulfilled both requirements. X is positive and we don't have any fraction engagement. Again, everything is actually up to the multiple choice. Whatever you see in the multiple choice, based on that, you stop. If you see this in the multiple choice, stop after having this. If you see this in the multiple choice, then you stop, that's it. But if you don't see this, that means you cannot stop. Any question? Was anything unclear? Confusing? No?
Are we gonna be allowed, calculators?
No.
Can we go over the fractions? Maybe another 2?
Sure. Go over everything. I can go real quick, no problem. So start with fraction. Which fraction? Multiplication or addition? Both. So the first fraction is here. Negative 1/3 times -5. When you multiply, we only multiply the numerator with the numerator. You can think of it as another fraction, the whole number is. So in this way, when you multiply, we multiply the numerators, and we write the answer on the numerator, and we multiply the denominators, and we multiply on the denominator. Fraction multiply the top, multiply the bottom. However, you can also multiply in a different way if it's simplificable. For example, if you multiply -1/3 with a 3, in this case, you don't have to do same to -3/3. You can simply cancel 1 from the denominator and 1 from the numerator. So you have 3 on the denominator, 3 on the numerator. You can simply cancel them. Whatever remains, that is our answer. So we have only this left. So the answer is -1. Also, you can do this for other numbers. Let's say -3 times 9. So we can cancel 3 with the 9. 3 goes to 9 3 times. And now we left it on the top, -1 and 3. So you multiply them together. The answer is -3. So multiplying is, if you can divide, then you don't have to multiply, simply divide and divide. Now for addition and subtraction, we need the same denominator. So we have 5/3 plus 2. So we have 2 and 5/3, little bit more. So math says, well, have the same denominator. Now 2 has invisible 1, but that is not helpful for us. We want the same 3 here because the other denominator has 3. So we put 3 on the denominator. We can simply put it there. But math is fair. Math says, hey, you put 3 on the denominator. You cannot do that. You also have to put 3 on the numerator. So we have 2 childs. One is in the denominator, one is in the numerator. We gave 3 toy on the denominator child. Now numerator didn't get anything yet. Math says, you must give a 3 on the numerator child. So we put a 3 on the numerator. And now denominator has a 3, numerator has a 3. Math is happy, we are happy. Now we can combine the 2 fractions. We have the same 3, so we write 3 once, and we combine our numerators. First numerator is 5, then you're adding the second numerator. So 5 plus 6, that gives us 11/3. We can do the same thing for negative number also. Let's say you have -5/3 and you are adding 2. Same concept. We want the same 3 on the numerator and denominator. So we have the denominator once, but observe what do we have on the numerator now? -5 plus 6. -5 plus 6. What you're going to get this time? 1/3. This is long cut, but you can do it mentally. All you have to do is, let me write again. 5/3 plus 2. The shortcut method is multiply these two. So 3 times 3 is 6. And then you apply the sign here, plus and plus. So you're going to add this number. So multiply the cross and just add the numerator. So you have 11 and you keep the denominator, which is same as this one. So you don't have to do it on the paper, you can just do it mentally. If you do it the -1, it's same thing. Let me erase this. So we multiply 3 times 2. We have a plus sign here, so it's plus 6. And then we add the numerator. Our numerator is -5. So you get 1 over the denominator. It's mental math. Okay, now going over the whole thing. Again, everything depends on the direction. Let's say direction says only write the parallel line in slope intercept form. Write the parallel line in slope intercept form. So what you do? First, we need to figure out the slope of the line they gave us. Based on that, we get the slope of the parallel line. Once you figure out the slope, we write down our format, one slope format. We substitute x1, y1 in slope, and we solve for y. If you want to find the equation of the perpendicular lines, slope intercept form. Same thing. Based on the original line, we get the slope of the perpendicular line. And then we substitute everything in the point slope format. So x1, y1 slope, our slope is different this time. And slope intercept means get the y alone. So to get the y alone, we subtract, we add the 2, and we simplify here. We have to work a little bit more because we are working with fraction this time. Here we didn't have to do more work because we work with one number. Fraction means a little bit more work. So that's what you have to do if they ask you for slope intercept format. Like they want you to find in standard format. That means you want to x and y next to one another. So if you have this, or even simply from here, you can add the 2 and you can move your 3x from the right to your left. So x and y next to one another, constant is 11. But we have a problem, x is negative. They don't want x to be negative, so change all the signs in your term. For perpendicular line, same thing. We want x and y together, so we add the x term, and this time we are happy our x is positive, but we still have a problem. Our equation has a fraction, not only one fraction, two fractions. So we multiply every term by the denominator because they're the same denominator. As a result, all the denominators cancel out. Now we have a perfect equation. No negative x, no fraction, standard form. If your denominators are not same, that means you need LCD. So it is the LCD of both denominators, multiply each term by that LCD. Okay? So this is the final exam question. They will ask at least one of these in the final. And now it's your turn. You can work with the neighbors. You have to deal with fraction, so do the homework, things will be easier. My MATLAB. The what? Yes. There is an option, help me solve this. If you click on that, it will teach you everything. Or you can search YouTube, how to find the equation of parallel line, or perpendicular line. Where is the second sheet? All of you did not sign in, right? I think so. Can we do that? No, not this side, other side.
The whole number.
Both.
It's- I'm trying to think like making a fraction, like,
If it's a fraction, then what are the slope for, what is the slope for same line? What is the slope of parallel lines?
do the same, so.
That means you have to work with the fraction.
So what is that?
You have to work with the fraction. Go ahead. 500. They give you one. The one which you guys have, the equation of this parallel. That is factoring in which you know the below of that parallel. So you have a parallel. No, both for any parallel line. What type of slope parallel line? Think. It's the slope of the original line to the same slope of the parallel. So what is the slope of this line? What is this format? That means you can study harder.
That's.
Hi, we have to take a baby, right? It is related. I'm going to say you're going to be very math. That means you're going to be in math. Like when the things are something other areas in math. So start with this. This is y equals mx plus b formats. Of the both. Looking at the there's load of this line is what while we get the same slope will be for the parallel. Slope of this line is the slope for the parallel. So this line is the function of the parallel line is the function. So we are equal to the parallel line and we give you the point 67. This is that parallel line goes to the point 67. So we take around take the F1 and then the Y1. Find the position on the parallel line. It's at by the structure, there is no structure. So we can structure is Y minus Y1 below X minus. Position of anyone. Anyone. Now we want to do parallel this. So parallel line for the information is below 1 here of X1 here, Y1 here. 2Y. What is the slope of the parallel line? that they want to write in quiz format instead of white. The word quiz format. To see by putting on the parallel line, it points low points. But they want to write in interval. The same line they write on 3 different points. This is one point. They want to write quiz format and then write it at much more. The problem there is for so you have 1 fourth times 7. 1 fourth. So we make here. We make this. Then we're going to.
-6. And then return to use the same piece of email, whichever line of the particular letter here. And then for standard form, and then One of the athletics plus the next one is 1 for that. Then multiply by 50. Yeah, I'm like. It's like, that's one. Yeah.
Did everybody sign in this time? Everybody signed in? Okay, so start with the parallel line. Y equals 1/4 of x minus 3. Do you see the slope of this line? What is the slope of this line? 1/4. That means what is the slope of the parallel line? 1/4. And what will be the slope of the perpendicular line? -4. Perfect. So, oops. The first one is the parallel line. Equation of, actually, let me do the perpendicular first. Because of my space. Ah, what happened? Okay. Let me do perpendicular first, okay? I have small space here. Equation of perpendicular line. We start with the same format. Y minus y1 slope x minus x1. Now let me pick my volunteer. Ion. Ion, right? Ion lamp. Go ahead, tell me faster. What do you do? It's like I'm forcing you guys. So, what do you do from here? Huh? Last, would you like to help the next person? Would you like to help him? Uh-huh. I'm doing perpendicular. What is the slope? -4. X minus 6. Perfect. And then what? So we add 7. We get y equals -4x, and then 24 plus 7. That gives us 31. Oops. Perfect. This is the slope intercept format. And if you convert this into standard format, you add the 4x. So 4x plus y is 31. Right? So perpendicular line is easy. It's a whole number.
So kind of a basic thing, but how did you get the
What is the slope of the original line? So 1/4 is a positive number, right?
Yeah.
Perpendicular line has to have the opposite sign, the other sign. So you have to have a negative sign. And then how you're going to reciprocal? What is the reciprocal of 1/4?
-4? So it's just
Only 4. Because anytime you have 1 on the bottom, it is a whole number. Okay, now I'm going for my parallel line. Equation of parallel line. So let me start with the basic format. Y minus y1 slope x minus x1. Now I'm going to pick my next element here. Gerald. Go ahead. Y minus 7. What is the slope of the parallel line? 1/4 x minus 6. Perfect. And then what do we do? Add 7. Distribute. So y equals 1/4 of x. Negative 6/4 plus 7. So you have two ways of doing it. Either reduce here now, or you can reduce later, 6 and 4. Maybe you can reduce it later because you have the same denominator. And in order to get here the denominator, we need to multiply by everything by the same denominator. So keep the denominator now, and then you're going to reduce later. So what do you get here? Negative 6/4, positive 7. So you put 4. No, see, math is clear, right? You cannot just randomly put 4 on the bottom. Yep. So we have plus 28. And what sign we have in front of 6? Negative. So negative 6, positive 28 over the denominator 4. What do we get? Positive 22/4. So y equals 1/4 of x, positive 20/4. For standard for this format, you need to reduce. So we get y equals 1/4 of x, 11/2. However, for ax plus by format, standard format, I'm going to use the same denominator because our life will be easier. So we have y equals 1/4 of x plus 22/4. But they want x and y together in one side. We subtract 1/4x from both sides. So negative 1/4x plus y is 22/4. And now we have two problems. X is negative and we have a fraction. Okay, we can times by 4, denominator will be gone. But how about the negative sign? So instead of 4, multiply by negative 4. And let me do it individually for your convenience. Negative 4 times negative 1/4 of x. Negative 4 times the y. Negative 4 times the 22/4. So negative, negative cancel out. 4, 4 cancel out. 4, 4 cancel out. So what is left at the end? X minus 4y equals, we have a negative sign, right? And 22. So it's negative 22. Good news, in the exam, I'm going to ask you from the one format, either in standard format or in the slope intercept format. You don't have to do 4 times, you do it only 1 time. Okay, and I'm going to ask either the parallel line or the perpendicular line. So you should know all the methods, but in the exam, we're going to use only one method. Any question? How come we don't have time? Like in my morning class, I'm almost done at 8.2. But see, we're still in 8.1 here with you guys. It sucks. So 8.2, let me start and then I'll finish in our next class. And let me give you overall idea. In 8.2, we talk about transformation. So in order to do transformation, first we need to know the original shape of the graph. If you know the original shape of the graph, based on that, we can use the transformation. So let me skip the first thing first. I'm going to go about that in our next class and start to with the original graph. So in this class, we are going to talk about 4 different types of graph. The first one is x squared. Do you know the shape of x squared graph? It's a U. So shape of any x squared graph is a parabola upward. Now, if we apply one type of transformation called reflection, it means put a sign in front, put a negative sign in front of the function. So negative x squared. It's the same graph, but this time it's reflect about the x-axis. So the upward parabola turns into what? Upside down parabola. Because reflection, this is like a mirror. If you put mirror on the x-axis and look at the parabola upward, you will see it becomes a downward parabola. So negative x squared is a downward parabola. So the original one is parabola upward. Its reflection is negative x squared upside down. Second type of function is a cubic function. Its name is cubic. And by the way, the name of xy is quadratic. Quadratic. Quad means 2. So x squared means quadratic function. Cubic means 3 power. And the original cubic function has a shape like this. It goes to the origin and it increases forward on the upside. It goes down forward. It goes down on the downside forever. Now its reflection, if this is your mirror, it says put this part here and this part there. So negative x cubed has this shape. The left is going up, the right is going down. You have to memorize all this shape, okay? X cubed is the original x cubed is this. That's reflected x cubed, which is negative x cubed, is the other one. The third type of function is called square root function. Square root. This is x, this is y. The square root function has this shape. It is always on the first quadrant. Everything is positive. The same graph If you reflect, it goes downward on the negative side. So this is negative square root of x. Memorize them, okay? Now the last type of function is called absolute value. Absolute value. Y, X, Y. Does anybody know what is the shape for absolute value function? It's a V. It's a victory. Absolute value. Just like parabola, it's an upward V. It's on the plus sign of the y-axis. Can you guess the shape for the negative absolute value? Downward V. So these are the 4 types of graph we are going to work with in this class. So make sure you memorize all of their shapes. In our next class, we are going to work with them. We're going to transform them left, right, up, down. We're going to reflect them. We're going to do everything. And also, for this type of question, the graph will be given, and we are just going to get the information based on the graph. So you're going to complete this and then do the transformation. So in the next class, we have 2 topics. Find the slope of the parallel perpendicular line and find the equation of the parallel perpendicular line. So the quiz, none of these. Okay. Quiz will be based on these 2 topics. I'm going to ask you directly. Find the equation of, let's say, perpendicular line in slope intercept form. No. Whatever I ask you, you just have to use that format. So goodbye, everyone. See you again on Friday. If you didn't buy anything before.
Because on my, those on the post,
No, it's with the physical book, and it doesn't have any what is called the discount. We get a discount price because of you, Baruch student. So you have to go through Brightspace to get the thing.
what time you're writing here, so all days will be same, or it will be.
I don't post the solution, but I already posted the original one. So the original one without any writing, it's already posted on Brightspace. And the one I go over in class, I don't post them, but I post the lecture notes. I mean, lecture video
On YouTube.
Go ahead, no problem, anyone.